I'm Marcus Richardson.
And I'm Nathan Hicken.
And we have a special treat for you this week. Bailey from MysteryGamesOfficial.com has done what I consider to be impossible, which is design a murder mystery party for two. Party for two. She custom designed this mystery for Nathan and I to experience here on the podcast, and we are so excited and delighted. It came with invitations, suggestions for how to dress up, which
Fantastic.
Both of us are just dressed out, decked out to the nines.
Yes. Oh! If you could describe my outfit, it's the white shirt unbuttoned, the red vest, the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
I'm wearing two fedoras because the first one wasn't swaggy enough, so I put another one on top. It's a hat on a hat, which I hear in comedy is a really good thing to do. So
yeah.
I feel good about my decisions. But yeah, so obviously we've done nothing like this before, so we're excited to give it a try. But the name of this mystery is Guns, Gangs, and Grands. Takes place in the 1920s Prohibition era.
Classic.
Okay, well, I think we'll start by getting in character. Sound good, Nathan?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I'll introduce myself first. My name's Raymond Booker. I'm the lawyer of a mob boss, locally known as Boss Man. Not the most clever moniker, but the pay's good and the benefits are even better. And with the truce being made with the rival gang, it should be getting even better. It'll be a few more days before the deal is set in motion, and Boss Man has gone to check on a few things before it's all official. In the meantime, I'm in charge of keeping the records and the meeting room in tip-top shape. But the hush-hush. Unfortunately, things aren't all hunky-dory. While I've been organizing the meeting room, I noticed two suspicious things. A letter to John from a Mary Ellen, and $1,000 missing from Boss Man's personal stash. The stash was hidden in a secret safe of Boss Man's alcohol cabinet, which is restocked by Chester Clyde. If he doesn't fess up and give the money back, I'll have a full-blown gang war on my hands, which will mean overtime at my other job as being a government officer.
Well, I'm Chester Clyde. I'm the bartender of the library, a respectable speakeasy run by the Boss Man himself. Years ago, I used to be a sharpshooter for Boss Man, but my shaky hands and nerves made it difficult work. Luckily, there's rumors that Boss Man is making a truce with the coffin makers, meaning I won't have to join in the firefight. But the hush-hush. There might be another reason I'm so keen for peace with the coffin makers. Mostly because I've been seeing their leader's daughter, Alonza. She's an absolute beauty with a fiery temper to boot. Which unfortunately means she's mad at me at the moment. Just a little mishap, nothing too serious, so I hope it'll be hunky-dory when she cools down. On another note, I did see Raymond Booker, Boss Man's lawyer, inside of San Antonio's. And as everyone knows, that's a known hangout of government officers. So, could Raymond be a G-man just waiting for a moment to turn us all in? We'll find out.
In case it wasn't clear, Chester and I have been removing our headphones whenever the other person divulges secrets or confidential information.
And there are many secrets here, unfortunately.
Well, why don't we give them the rundown on who's here and what we think of them?
All right. You want to go first, Raymond?
Absolutely.
We got Boss Man. He's the mob boss I work for. An honest crook and has always paid me good. I used to be a thug for him, but luckily he switched me over for a bartender when he saw my shaky hands. Now I spend my days stocking his personal alcohol cabinet and serve at his best speakeasy. Then we got Scarpadazoozi.
Scarparozzi is the leader of the Coffin Makers, the rival gang that the Boss Man is making the truce with. He visited a few days back with his daughter to talk it through with Boss Man.
Next we got Alonza Scarparozzi. She's the pretty lady I've been seeing lately, though with the argument I've had, I won't be seeing her for another few days. But you know, it'll all blow over in the end. Raymond Booker, fellow sitting across his Discord call from me. He's Boss Man's lawyer and possibly a copper. I saw him grabbing a bite to eat in San Antonio's, and Johnny managed to sneak a picture of it. If worse comes to worse, I do plan on letting Boss Man know.
Chester Clyde. You've already met him. He's the goon who probably stole the grand from Boss Man. He's the bartender of the Boss Man Speakeasy and personally stocks Boss Man's alcohol cabinet, making him the likeliest suspect. The rules of the game are simple. We have several rounds with a couple of scripted conversations. Then we get the chance to throw out a couple of accusations. When all is said and done, we get a final guess, and then the culprit is revealed.
Okay.
Round 1. Morning, Chester. Anything to report in this old drum?
You sound like a G-man, Booker. But no, it's been as sleepy as a lion in here. Your usual.
Chester, didn't you used to have a southern accent? Whatever happened to that?
Well, the war was tough on me.
Has a different effect on a lot of people. Thanks,
Yeah.
Chester. Do as you will. I won't critique your accent any longer.
Well, that's all right. I think I'm gonna go try to stick with it. So anyway, how did that meeting go?
Swell. Just swell. Boss Man conned a good deal out of the coffin makers. I can't tell you anything specific, but there'll be lots more breathing room for us once things pull through.
That's swell, just swell. I'll bet a few more pennies in our pockets as well.
Well, if things pull through.
What do you mean by that? There trouble with the deal?
Not the deal, but I was going through Boss Man's things, keeping it clean and whatnot.
And?
And a grand was missing from the Boss Man's personal stash.
His personal stash? You mean?
Yeah, his secret safe behind the false bookcase. The one you always stock with Cognac.
Well, sure, that's 'cause Boss Man pays me to. And, hey, you aren't suggesting that I...
No, not if you have proof against it. But I've gone over it in my head, and the only persons who's been in there are me, you, Boss Man, and then the coffin maker leaders. As it stands, I'm hoping it was you.
That's baloney. Why, Alice goes and cleans there every other week, and sure she didn't take it?
She doesn't know nothing. She's a sweet broad, but she ain't got two thoughts in her head at a time. Besides, she took last week off and checked before the meeting. Timing just doesn't line up.
Well, I guess then it must have been one of them coffin makers. I always knew they were a shady bunch, what with the turf wars and all. And...
No, you know something? Better start singing. Better start singing. Before I rat you out.
Page.
Oh no, it is. but it works. You better start singing.
That's true.
Disregard that outburst, Chester. I got ahead of myself.
I was forgiven for now.
And the Scripinosies have been trying to get peace ever since you got in. It makes no sense to lose it for a lousy $1,000.
Well, true enough. But then it could have been one of his lackeys. They could have taken the money to start up another war. He's always had his people arguing with him. Who all was there in that meeting anyway?
Well, me, Boss Man, old Scarpazzosi, and his lawyer.
Dan Cooks? He could have done it. I just heard.
The obituary? Dan Cooks died in a shootout last week.
Dan died? Well, I'll be. Who'd they get to take over for him?
Scarparozzi's, I got it right that time, daughter, Alonza. Pretty dame. Smart too. Only problems are the relations.
You couldn't get within 2 feet of her. Besides, she's got a man.
Does she now? Where'd you hear that from?
Nowhere important. Anyhow, shouldn't you be concerning yourself with that missing grand? If Boss Man comes home and realizes it's gone, well, you're his lawyer. I guess he'll start looking at you, seeing as you see it every day. Crime of opportunity and whatnot.
Exactly. And as lawyer, I know plenty about law, particularly when it comes to using that law to shift blame. So seeing as you've been closest to the safe, you're the best scapegoat.
That's criminal.
That's politics.
Ooh,
Begin accusations.
heck yeah.
Now, Chester, I'm sure you'd rather keep a couple of skeletons in your closet for at least a while longer, but I can't help but notice you seem to know that Miss Alonza has a man. And considering the only men I know of are me, Boss Man, her father, and you, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a wager that you've got a thing for Miss Alonza.
Well, don't forget about yourself, obviously, but also Dan Cook, the lawyer who's dead. Maybe she shot him. And obviously Johnny, who I don't know anything about him besides something I won't say at the moment. Listeners, you know what I'm talking about. But it seems a little early to be pointing the fingers at me.
Hey, all I know is I was given the broad category of begin accusations, and you're the only person sitting here to accuse, so I felt pretty good about that.
What's it to you if I was seeing the daughter?
Oh, interesting. Well,
Doesn't mean I stole the grand.
I think that would complicate things quite a bit. You know,
Seems that would be in my best interest to not anger the boss.
it seems like if you have the ear of a pretty little girl who might have a different motive, I don't know. Maybe that could get you to go against type, go against character.
Intriguing. Well, according to my dialogue, you see the money every day, which is kind of odd, considering you're a lawyer and all, but if you're poking around his safe, that's mighty suspicious.
Listen, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you don't know very much about law for gangsters. But I tell you what, the most important thing you can do is make sure you got that money in your peepers every day. Give them a gander,
Just staring
you know
it
they're
down.
there, and that's where they stay.
All right, fair enough. I respect that, I suppose.
I could spot a counterfeit from a mile away. Test it sometime. You'll see.
From a mile away. Those are some peepers you got on you.
That's politics.
Cut that. That's Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, shall we continue this amicable conversation? Is it amiable or
Yeah.
amicable? Are those two different words?
Amiable and amicable, they're pretty similar. Similar definitions, I believe.
What if I said amicable?
Amicable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like non-nondescript.
The non. Imagine if that was one of Jared's trivia questions, having to say non-denomous script.
I would have aced it. Hey, do you want to start round two?
Round 2, here we go. Well, I suppose it won't make much difference what you say once I let the boss man know that you're a G-man. Dun dun dun.
What are you babbling about?
This picture. Johnny, aforementioned Johnny, took it outside of Santonio's, which we all know is the Fuzz's territory. Show clue 1.
What I got my eyes on is a black and white photo of Santonio's. It's got a couple of people out front. And is that me? I couldn't say.
That's you, clear as day.
I
with that
couldn't.
blurry
I
little-
don't see it.
That's your signature 2 fedoras on top. What are you talking about?
Dang it. Well, it looks like you got me. I'm an informant for the FBI. Same as
Wait, is
Smith,
that your actual-
Leroy, and Parker. I'm back on script, baby.
Oh, you're back to script. Okay. All right. Gas.
As a quick aside, I was committed to saying that definitely wasn't me in the photo. Then I went back to the script and said, well, it looks like you got me. I had to change my tune.
I appreciate how forthcoming you are with this. Like,
Oh.
as soon as I show one photo, you're like, yeah,
One photo.
that's the only reason.
I'll talk. I'll tell you anything. Hey, that's politics.
That's politics. Smith, Leroy, and Parker, they come in every Tuesday for a pint.
Of course they do. Because we're all on Boss Man's payroll. Our commander, too. Though he doesn't like to socialize so much as us common thugs.
What? You mean you all play both sides?
Yeah, it's the reason Boss Man hired me in the first place.
Really? Well, that gives me the heebie-jeebies. You can't trust anyone in this dump.
especially the Joe in charge of the booze.
Hey, I said I didn't do it, didn't I?
The evidence says otherwise, so just confess. We'll get the money back before Boss Man notices, and no one will be the wiser.
Say, that's not a bad idea. Only one problem.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know nothing about where it is because I didn't take it.
Well, then who did? Pounds desk. The Tooth Fairy? You, Boss Man, Scrap-a-Nazi? No, that's bad. You know, Nathan, I've decided that I wanted to mispronounce it a little bit worse every time. That one was really bad. The Scarperonzi and Alonza were the only ones there. And hey, how do you know it wasn't Alonza?
Nah, it couldn't have been her.
Why not? You never met the dame before, have you?
Of course I have. She's my... she and I... Well, she'd never do something so reckless, considering who her old man is.
No, you know something? Better start singing before I rat you out to the boss man.
Cool it, Stooley. Alright, I admit it. I know Alonzo didn't do this because... Well, she's my girl.
Your girl? You're courting Scarperozzi's daughter?
Not so loud. And it's more that I'm trying to. We had a bit of a tiff the other day, and she hasn't been speaking too sweet to me lately.
It's a wonder you're speaking at all. How'd you get past her old man's guards? Or in their territory, for that matter.
Hasn't been easy, I'll tell you that. But we've made it work. Mostly we'll send each other letters, you know. Of course, I call myself John in them, in case they're ever found.
What does she call herself?
Mary Ellen. Why'd you ask?
Darn. Here, this is probably meant for you. I found it when I was cleaning up after the meeting. Reveal Clue 2.
Oh no.
Care to read it for us?
John, amor mio, mi tormentor, I cannot stand your cruelty no longer. I have loved you more than the earth and heavens, but you have betrayed my most faithful trust. So, I am running away to Paris, France. You will not be surprised. Well, I am surprised. I have often talked of going there, and now I shall. I very much doubt we will ever meet again. In fact, I've made certain of it. Goodbye forever, my love. Mary Ellen. What? I don't believe it. Why, this can't be right. Say, you forced us, didn't you? You're trying to set me up, and now you're trying to take her from me, too.
Calm down. Why would I do that? And besides, this is the first I'm hearing of it. How would I have time to forge this? Begin accusations.
Well, there's a lot in here. First of all, what do you know about the Tooth Fairy?
That's for another exhibit another day.
Also, before we get into Alonzo, which I feel is the meat of this round, what do you mean? You said our commander is also in on it? Like your FBI commander is also on Bossman's payroll?
Hey, Bossman has deep pockets. A lot of people on payroll.
Bossman's cool with this.
I would assume. He's good for it. He's paying all of us.
Interesting.
Now, what's the angle of this, Alonza?
Well, I guess we had a fight a few days ago. I don't know what about, but to up and dump me like that and run away to Paris, which, by the way, does surprise me. What's she got to do in Paris?
Hey, find a better love. Someone who doesn't torment her.
Yeah, but...
I do appreciate her exposition in saying you will not be surprised. I have often talked about going there, and now I shall. I think I should do likewise in many conversations. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Know. That shouldn't surprise you. I've often talked about the bathroom, and now I'm going.
So that's where he forged the note. I knew it. This is all sudden. All right, so we got the suspects here are me, you, the boss man, which would be weird if he stole his own money unless he just, went on a spending spree. Just didn't tell us, I guess. Scarpazzoni.
Scrappy Pizza.
Scrappy Pizza. And, Alonza, which I'm beginning to doubt I knew her at all.
Sounds like she
just
might have
using me
been
to get close?
yanking your chain. You're the one who's got access. You have access.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. We know that Bossman's competitor, the leader of the coffin makers, was good for this deal. Bossman had pursued it for a while, and it sounded like everything was going to go through. It sounded like Coffin Maker had no reason to steal the grand. But his
I
daughter,
can't see any reason. Yeah.
we don't know her motives.
That's true, and I can't see a mob boss wanting to steal a measly grand out of a safe. Seems a foolish thing to do to mess up a negotiation.
Yeah, why not? Why not steal more? Why?
Yeah.
And for that matter, just to go back to your wild accusations of a certain lawyer, why would I just take $1,000 and then try to pin it on you? I could have taken the whole thing. I could have taken the whole thing and said nothing. And then, where would we be? I could run with the money.
Yeah, that's true. You're awful kind just to sit and chat with me about it. You know, they say innocent person doesn't run. Oh boy.
An innocent person doesn't run.
You only run if you're guilty.
Well, I know someone who's running to Paris.
Tragic. Well, we still have some more clues to uncover, I believe.
Round 3. Look, I'm real sad your girl dumped you, but now we got bigger fish to fry. If we don't find the money before Bossman comes back, we'll be looking to start a real war. Not just the turf wars we've been seeing. I'm talking goons with guns on every street, taking a pop at you every time you take a stroll.
Bringing me a soda? Well, I don't know what you expect me to do about it. I know nothing about nothing with nothing in between. For all I know, for all I know, you could have done it. Maybe get you a swanky high-rise or something at your lousy division.
Not if I meet the big one before I can. Besides, why would I come to you about this if I'd done it? I just said this.
How should I know? You're the lawyer. Anyhow, I'd be sleeping with the fishes long before anyone took a pop at you. Bossman knows I can burn powder better than anyone else in this dump. I'll be on the front lines out there.
That's right. Your old moniker was Sharp Eyes, wasn't it? Why aren't you a hatchet man now? Bet it'd pay better than this.
Yeah, sharp eyes and shaky hands. I couldn't hold a gun if it was glued in my hand once I heard those pops go off. If a war does break out, I'm done for.
Unless you make a clean sneak with the money before it did, 1,000 can get you pretty far away.
And risk Alonza? Not a chance. Besides, too many people here would remember my handsome mug.
What happened between you two? Her letter said something about how you betrayed her most faithful trust. How'd you manage that?
Oh, well, yeah, that was all my fault. Alonza's always wanted to visit Paris, which I was not surprised about.
As she had told you multiple times.
Yes, as she repeatedly told me. But her old man's too strict to let her out of the house. So I told her that as soon as I got some cash, we'd sneak off to see it. But it's been months, and all I got to my name is a few quarters. That, and well, a while ago I got a hankering for the dancing clubs, and Alonza saw me walking out with another broad.
You're not too keen on common sense, are you?
Hey, it was only a dance or two, and I was only walking her out to be a gentleman. You never know what hoodlums are on the streets these days.
Or in the dancing clubs.
Like I said, it wasn't like that. Anyhow, I tried explaining it all to Alonza, but she wouldn't listen.
Shame. Well, I guess that just leaves Mr. Scarparozzi himself. Though it doesn't seem his style.
No, he wouldn't. He's worked too hard for a truce. And he definitely doesn't need the money. Couldn't have been him.
Who then?
Why don't you tell me?
I'm trying to, began accusations. Listen, I really feel like we just said what we had already been talking about. All the facts, I believe, are lying right in front of us.
Yep.
Not to beat a dead horse, but sounds like someone was waiting for you to find them money. And no surprise, you let him down.
Well, Apparently, I spent all my money on dancing clubs, which does seem a foolhardy endeavor. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent this month.
If I can just colleague to colleague compliment your self-awareness, the fact that you've been immediately able to say, yeah, that was my bad, was pretty emotionally mature of you.
Thank you. They used my moniker now is the emotionally mature bartender. So,
well, it won't matter if we don't figure this out, find the money, or else it'll be our heads on the chopping block.
That's true. And I'm gonna be out on the streets getting shot at. So, well, I think I have my guess. You have yours?
I believe so.
All right. How do we want to do this? I mean, I'm pretty certain. I don't think I'm going to change, even if you say it's Johnny or the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah. Here, do your guess first.
Okay.
And then I'll do my guess.
As much as it pains me to say, I rather reckon that it was my own one and true love, Alonza.
And I think it was the Tooth Fairy.
Dagnabbit!
Obviously, it was Alonza. Who else would I guess? Shall we check?
I think so. I reckon it's got to be her. She wanted the money to go to Paris. Her dad never let her out of the house.
Let's find out. I have here a letter of confession. The true villain was Alonza.
Alonza!
After seeing Chester with another woman, she decided to steal the money from Bossman's vault and run away to Paris. This would fulfill her greatest wish to travel, while also getting revenge on Chester by putting him in a gang war, which he was always very nervous about.
She wanted to kill me.
She learned where the money was from Chester, who likely bragged about his job to her. After learning of Dan Cook's death, she begged her father to let her be his lawyer so that she would have a chance to steal the money.
Well, dang.
How...
Just goes to show.
Go ahead. What does it go to show?
Just goes to show. You really gotta be sneaky when you're taking girls from the dancing club. That's the lesson I've learned here.
If you're gonna be an idiot a little bit quieter.
Be a smart idiot.
Be a smart idiot. Well, I don't think we've found the money, but I bet I can make a good forgery.
You reckon? Because, there's still going to be a gang war if we don't get... Especially since it was the other gang's daughter that stole the money. This don't look good.
We take it to our graves. In fact, and I just hatched an idea. When's the last time Boss Man's counted his money by hand? He just depends on me. I say that I just do a little bit of miscalculation in in the books.
Yeah, creative bookkeeping.
Creative bookkeeping.
Right. Well, as long as you're certain.
I gotta say, the villain here was surprisingly less villainous than I initially supposed. Heartbroken. That was her motive. It wasn't to start the gang war, or really not that much at all.
Yeah, I suppose it was really my fault.
You're the real criminal, Coxgun pointed at you.
God.
All right. The end.
The end. Oh my gosh.
Shall we do a little talk back sesh? Share our feelings about this?
Yeah.
I think that for what this is, it's really great. Like I said at the beginning, I'm impressed that there was an experience for two people that felt kind of like a murder mystery dinner party.
Yeah, that was delightful. I liked having the script was fun with two people. Like it was good, snappy dialogue, which I appreciate. It's a different way to run a murder mystery experience like this too, which is always fun.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways to make murder mystery parties, and I think you and I have talked about it extensively. Like we've before designed murder mystery parties that lean more into like improv, but I kind of like this structure of like giving the people like stuff to say and kind of their personality in lines of dialogue, and then opening it up to like, all right, now what do you want to say next, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's very approachable murder mystery too, where you're fed the lines, you can draw your own conclusions, but the game's going to move on regardless. No one has to be, if you're not big on improv, or things like that, acting and whatnot, you don't have to. You just have to read the script, which works.
Yeah. Another tricky thing about murder mysteries is like, do you have people make deductions throughout? Like, do you hold off on information? And when do you reveal information? It can be tricky, but I think that the dialogue was written well and fun to read, and that really made it engaging.
Yeah, and I like how they presented clues. There wasn't a lot of clues, which is good for a quick murder mystery experience, which is what this was. So we didn't get bogged down in like reading documents or trying to figure out what not. It was more narrative driven, I feel like, than like investigatory.
Probably makes a better podcast. The fact that it was mostly dialogue, that's good for us. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for playing through this with me, or Chester Clyde. Thank you.
Oh, anytime. Thank you, Raymond.
And thank you, Bailey, so much for making this. If anyone is interested in trying out one of her murder mystery parties for yourself, her website is mysterygamesofficial.com. And I believe that she's selling several different settings. I'm interested myself in seeing what else she's made. So we're really grateful that she custom made this for us. And that was a good time.
It was a blast. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, signing off. Talk to you later.
See you next time.